Well, good morning, everybody. At least morning here. If you're on the East Coast, good afternoon, early afternoon. As the title said, Trump, Trudeau, and Tommy Robinson. Well, here we are. Just had a big fight. Of course, Trudeau had to weigh in on what's going on with Trump there with the immigration. And it just proves most people haven't got a freaking clue. I mean, you listen to this, you look at CBC, CTV, CNN, ABC, you go through the list. And overseas, the UK, it just more of the same. You know, the alleged journalists, the people who are supposed to be bringing us the real news, but fail miserably at their jobs. What can you say? You, you must be a desperate person if you take verbatim what they are saying and telling you. It amazes me. The immigration thing with the kids get separated. Cry me a freaking river. Does anybody honestly believe that this just happened since Trump's been in office or just within the last couple months? Because it has not. This has been going on for a long time. You know, and I always say when I do this is please read, learn, going off on this feel good stuff because you're whatever guilty because you're white or guilty because you got lots of money. That doesn't work anymore. Facts. You want to feel guilty? Go hang yourself in a closet. I don't, whatever. Don't take it out on the rest of us. Use facts. Then if you actually use facts, you might not feel so guilty. Just imagine that. This about the kids. This has basically been going on since what, 94, I believe, in the States. Canada, and we're no better. Our prime minister says, "Oh, gee whiz, what Trump did," and I'm like, that's not pandering at all, is it? He's talking about something he's not a clue about, and of course, with Trudeau Jr., that would mean he doesn't know much about anything. He just likes the. I will look at the what I can't read this. I mean, he doesn't. That's what happens when you hire a part-time drama teacher who doesn't really have any idea what's going on in the world or the history of what's happening. Because what they are asking, and just simplify this, what they are asking Trump to do goes against the Constitution of the United States because you're asking the president to basically have imperial powers. It is not his job to make legislation. That's the Congress's job. They go through, they make legislation, they hand it, he signs it. If they've got enough votes, it passes through. You know, I'm probably simplifying that a lot, but that is not, there's a reason why they don't have the president with that, because then he'd be called king. Does anybody get that? Obviously, I know CNN, I was just watching CNN. They don't get it. They're just off in this tirade, feel bad, look at these kids and that. And who was it under Obama? 2014, 2015, they come out quietly. Probably most people never heard of this. They found out that they actually handed kids who over to human traffickers, etc. Yes, imagine that. How did that happen? Yeah, exactly. What did Obama do? Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what happened. And you listen to some of the tapes from there, what it did, just like a talk around it. Yes, it's terrible it happens, but look what we've done in the past. And, we got to help the poor people. And this is that. We got to go and, terrible what's going on. And I'm just telling you how terrible it is, stating the obvious, but I really don't have a plan for it. So I'm just going to make it sound good because I know I confuse most of you people when I talk in a circle without saying anything. And Trudeau does the same thing, except he is confused. So, be really careful what you work for. If the Democrats down there or the liberals here really want to make a change, well, then rather than yapping, actually start doing it. But of course, that's never going to happen. Our mainstream media is, oh, did look at what's happening. You should feel terrible. You should feel horribly. You're not a human being. This should be done. This is new. This is all Trump's fault. What, really? Where was that when Obama handed kids over to the traffickers? Where was the outrage? Oh, I know it was Obama. We can't say anything about that. Yeah, they were buddies with Trudeau. Yeah, the bromance or whatever the hell they call it. Yeah, can't say anything about that. That's bad. Yeah, we just blame Trump, you know. And this went on through Bush, through Clinton. Yep. But of course, if you use all the facts, then that kind of really blows your steam right out of your argument that you just can't blame Trump, you know. So it's crazy, you know. And then to have our prime minister, you know, I mean, we're already in with their we're getting about gearing up for a major trade war with the United States, which if anybody in Canada had a freaking brain, that would think that, oh yeah, 38 million people, yeah, really. And what are we going to do? We're going to cut them off of XYZ, you know, because, well, you really think about that. They have a hell of a lot more capacity industrial than we do, than they will ever have for the foreseeable, we will ever have for the foreseeable future. They all produce us. You don't believe me? Go take a look at the statistics. I mean, it's one thing to be patriotic, and then it's another thing to be stupid. Okay? Right now, we've got a prime minister who doesn't have a clue. The only reason he did this with Trump is because his approval ratings were slipping. What a better way to go there, hit him in the patriotic heart. Yes, look what I'm doing. I'm standing up for. Okay, well, what's he standing up for? Trudeau. What's he standing up for? We know what Trump. He's standing up for the United States, and it shouldn't be a surprise. Trump told he's doing exactly what he said he would. Can anybody tell me what Trudeau's doing? I mean, you notice this happened right after they bought a $4.5 billion pipeline. Yeah. And that all of a sudden now, you know, they had the meeting with the First Nations. That kind of got swept under the rug. So, you know, what is actually going on here? What are we doing? And we don't know. So it's really strange. I mean, it's almost surreal what has happened. I mean, to this day, talking about Trudeau, he apologized in a cut in advance for what happened 18 years ago for groping a reporter. Where's CBC, CTV, Global News? Nothing. Yep. Rebel reported it. Few of the other papers. BuzzFeed, of course, protected Trudeau. That kind of, you know, I guess that major event in Canada here, BuzzFeed. Everybody reads BuzzFeed. They've got a news channel, 24-hour, all that everybody followed. No, CBC, CTV, Global News, nothing. Nothing. You can explain to me, how is that possible? How is that journalism? How is that looking at it objectively? And you follow everything else that they've done to people, reported on. But yet when it comes to Trudeau, mum's the word, nothing. We can't say anything. Well, I wonder with CBC if that 1.9 billion that they're getting from us, the taxpayers, via the Liberal, has anything to do with it. That's some pretty major funding for a news source. And as far as I'm concerned, the CBC can go to hell, and they should be defunded. And I'm pretty sure after 2019 that that's going to be looked at. And if not, it damn well better be. Let's go ahead here. Speaking of reporting, CBC, CTV, Global News. Okay, Tommy Robinson. You guys, I mean, I don't have to repeat it, you know, less than 4 hours, arrested, convicted, thrown in jail, gag order on the press for 3 days. Yeah, why would that be news? Yeah, what the hell? Oh, I know why. Gee whiz. because there's not guilt, because he's, I don't want to say it. He's a white person. He's reporting on minorities, the grooming gangs, that nice word for rape gangs, and that, heaven forbid that should happen. Like, what the hell is wrong? We went sideways here somewhere. How did it happen? And you hear the stuff on the news, and it is like, okay, news, the fake news, and I'm going to say it right out, because seriously, you either got extreme to the right or extreme to the left on the news. You got nothing that's actually just reporting it without an opinion, without a slanted view, like, well, we're getting 1.9 billion from the Liberals, so basically scrap the news. We're just the propaganda arm of the Liberal Party. Isn't that nice? On our dollar. Feel good about that. CTV, Global News, have no idea what the hell. They're not reporting either. Like, whatever it is. You read about what Doug Ford said. I mean, Doug Ford come out, and whether you like or hate the guy, and it's like anything, deal with the facts. Go with what the guy's doing and he said, not with what they're reporting. And I reported it. You listen to the reporters. And for people that are supposed to be supplying us with information, that's sad. That should make people sick, because that's not reporting. That's inciting people with the wrong information. They've got on TV, Canadian content. Now we're forced to watch this if you got cable. I personally, I've done. I don't have cable. I have the internet. That's it. Why would I want to listen to that? It's I posted a link on here. Red Pill Phil posted a video of a hearing, and I think it's worthwhile to people to listen to, because it obviously didn't make mainstream news, and it's about kids, and it's sickening. Why haven't we heard about this? If we're going to talk about kids and news and that, why haven't we heard about this? Um, and go to the video. I mean, I'm not going to get into it a whole lot. I watched it, and I mean, I was almost ill. I mean, kids 4 and 9, getting raped, turned into prostitution, turned into drugs. And that's okay. But yet Trump, they talk about Trump and what Canada's doing to their, that's okay. What Trump's doing is really bad. Canada's doing the same thing and worse, but that's okay. And then in the UK, what's happening there with the kids, and this coming from an ex-police officer or a retired police officer, like, hey, go read the video. It's where's the reporting on this? For the reporters that say, oh, the poor kids, look at this, the families are getting torn apart. You watch that video. Tell me how concerned they are. I posted it on CNN to Don Lemon. Well, I don't expect to reply back, obviously. Who the hell am I? But really, if it's not true, prove it. If it's true, Jesus, do some journalism. But we don't do that. We just go with the feel good, or, go with the thing. Let's excite the crowd to riot. Let's make people stupider. Yes, because we know that most people will not look into things beyond what they read. There's many of the experts that read a headline for 10 seconds and they're instant experts on a subject. And that's all I say to people is go read, look at history, look at the background. Yeah, I know it's pretty tough. We'd rather look at Facebook for 7 hours and say, gee whiz, I don't have time to go check out whether this is actual factual or not. And that information's out there. I don't disagree with anybody. If the facts line up, I don't disagree. If it's about Trump, if it's about Trudeau, if they do something right, fine. If they do something wrong, great. But don't fabricate a bunch of bullshit. Don't only use part of the facts. And like I said before, the strange things about facts, if you don't use all the facts, they're no longer facts. Plain and simple. I don't know how you can confuse that. Geez, I had an argument there on Twitter. One of the gals wrote me, she likes Bill C-16. In Canada, that's basically the one that where Lindsay Shepherd, Jordan Peterson was talking about it, about where the government of Canada compelled us under penalty of jail up to if we don't use proper pronouns, if we don't say certain things. Basically, it impedes free speech. Essentially, that's what it comes down to. You know, um, and that's in Canada. Yes. So, you know, read, learn. I mean, and this person came on there and said, "Oh, it's great, you know, because it makes Canada better." Period. Okay. How does it make Canada better? No answer. Okay. Well, can you tell me? Explain to me, please. Being you seem to love the Liberals, explain to me. Well, then they come back with, oh, well, you're insulting me and all this, and typical right wing person insulting us, blah, 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 but never answer the question. You know, which the question basically got down to use the facts. If you're not going to use the facts, nobody wants to hear about it. You know, kind of like with Tommy Robinson, you know, uh, let's only use part of the facts. Let's not use all of the facts. You know, let's just use the ones who are the alleged facts that fit into our narrative, which, as I said, makes them not facts. If you're not going to use them all, is that not what reporting is about? And if you disagree with me, fine. Explain why. Had a talk with the other day. Guy says, "Well, my opinion may not be fact, but it's my opinion, and my opinion is just as important as the facts." And I'm sitting there going, "Hey, you want to explain that to me again?" "Well, I don't have to because it's my opinion." And I'm like, "Holy smokes, are you kidding me?" And if it was just one person, I could write it off. But I hear that, I don't know, at least once a day, probably more, but I'm not going to try to exaggerate. And it's like insane. Like, do people not get it? Are people just inherently stupid? And yeah, I'm sorry to use such powerful words, but where we're going as a country, as a world, is not good because we're going to blame Facebook because it does that, because there might be false information. We're going to blame the Russians. We're going to blame Trump. We're going to blame okay. Where it comes down to, if we actually start saying you're full of shit, you start reporting the facts, or we don't listen to you. CBC's case, we want you defunded. You go see how you do in a free market, which we pretty much guarantee won't be very well, and start changing your tune a little bit. Why do you think the ratings for like CNN, CBC, they're all go down? Why? Nobody believes them. It's that feel good thing. Like, yeah, if you're a liberal, it's great because they're all liberals, like with Aaron Murray, the liberal cheerleader there. Yeah, we can do that. We can go out, we can say whatever we want. But if these other guys say anything, they're just wrong. I'm not going to tell you why they're wrong, but they're just wrong. And you hear that all the time. Trump talks, and I'm not saying he does everything right. I don't agree with a lot of his tweets, but that's not the only thing he says. It's called taking it out of context. People would do well to remember that. Context is a hell of a thing. So, I mean, is that where we're at as a world? Is we just, the 30-second bites or the little headline, and it's an instant expert, and we don't have time to actually look at what's real, because at the end of the day, it comes down to us. We have to be smart enough to figure out, okay, this is BS. This guy has no idea what he's talking about, really opinionated, and I want a reporter. I don't want his opinion. Why do I want a reporter's opinion? I don't care. I want the facts. Whether he likes them or not, doesn't. And that shows bias, which also takes us to the thing about Trump with the FBI and all that. How in the hell do you get these agents in there sending texts off that and turn around and say, well, it didn't affect their judgment? Really? So I could write a bunch of things bad about the Muslims and the Syrians and the Africans and that, and then I can go sit on an immigration board to make decision who comes into this country. And you would not consider me biased. Because that's what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. How does that work? And I'm asking for you guys on the left there, I'm asking for an explanation. Because so far it's just been bullshit coming out of there. All I hear is we're 100% right, you're all wrong. And I don't have to defend that because what I'm saying is a fact. And that's it. That's it. That's the explanation. It's a fact. Don Lemon's case. It's a fact because I said it is. Okay, great. Aaron Wary. It's a fact because I said it is. Justin Trudeau. It's a fact because I'm not really sure what I'm saying, but Gerald Butts told me to say this, and he said it would be good for my image. That's pretty sure what it is. Yeah. And that's where we're at. And I don't see how people can call themselves intelligent. And I'm sorry if I offend people. Well, maybe not sorry, but think for yourselves. This isn't a cheerleading corps. We want done what's right. I don't personally care if you like the guy personally, you don't like the guy personally. What they're doing, how does that help us? Remember, we hired these guys elected to do a job. They got elected on what they said they would do. When they do not do that, we have a major failure. And when they start lying about it, that is a huge failure. And if the media becomes complicit in that lie, only using part of the facts, what does that do? That gets us absolutely nowhere. Who's to blame? Yeah, partly them because they're doing it. The other half is us. We're complicit because why call them out? You look at that veteran that Trudeau was talking to. Trudeau even gave the answer. We don't have enough money for you, to a veteran. And most people were okay with that. The Liberal, he was, at the town hall, he stood in front of people and, no other leader did that. Well, that's great. He stood in front of it. That's the only time he's been honest. And he really didn't answer the question if you think about it. He danced around it. He kind of added that to the end there after he bored everybody to death. And we really don't have enough money to do it. Next question. Like, really? You people are okay with that? It's sad. Tommy Robinson. Think about it. 4 hours. Arrested, convicted, thrown in jail. Gag order in the media for 3 days. You're okay with that? I will go back again to what my wife had said about the KGB coming in and arresting people in the middle of the night. Is that where we're going? Is that what you want? Because if you get too complicit, that will happen. It's already happening. Why do you think they're not reporting on Tommy Robinson? The only thing I can suggest is why they're not reporting on it, because they want this to happen. If I got to go onto YouTube and I got to take from 20 different sources from people, a bit here, a bit here, a bit here, even people I don't agree with, that's sad. Because what I'm getting is totally against what our mainstream media said, against Trump, for Trudeau. Like, really, that's where we're going? And I don't understand how did we get to this point? Like, really? So I would like people to take away, at least from this. If you're going to comment, you're going to argue, put some facts down. Because if you don't, I'll chew you up and spit you out. And that's fine. I mean, if that's what you want, great. But let's be honest with ourselves. Okay? I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a fan person of anybody. I want what's best for us in the country. What the government has is not a piggy bank of their money. That's a piggy bank of our money. It's about time we as citizens took responsibility and started calling these guys out in force. Call your MP, call your senator, call your congressman, wherever you're at. Call your member of parliament in the UK. Start getting on these guys. Let them know. And don't let them get off with, well, gee whiz, that's, or just not answer, which seems to be the famous one. I haven't got an answer back from my MP or Trudeau or McKenna at all yet in anything I've written them. And I'll admit it, I write probably at least once, twice a month, or once, every couple months at least. I've never got an answer. I've gotten from some of the opposition members, the MPs, Pierre Polyev. I got from Tom Mulcair. A few guys. I'm not going to go through them all. From the Liberal side, from my MP, nothing. Nobody cares. It's like, yeah, we're in for 4 years, so yeah, we'll just ignore you because you're going against the grain. Really, and nobody's concerned about that. I mean, I'm asking honestly, and if you're not, you should be. And the pretty obvious why. So, let me know what you think in the comment section. I do answer everybody. You may not like the answer, but I will answer. I'm not getting paid for any of this, so I'm giving you from my point of view what I see, and it's based on facts. And I expect the same in return. I don't need people on the channel sitting here going, spouting, well, you just like the conservatives. Well, you're just all, that's not an argument. That's not an argument. Use facts. If you believe that, tell me why. Tell me how. Real simple. Anyways, that's my tirade for the day. Everybody have a good one. We'll talk to y'all later. Probably be on in a couple days. Please hit the subscribe button if you like it. If you don't, well, keep passing. Let me know what you think, regardless. Even if you ain't going to subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Anyways, y'all have a good day. Have a great one.